Welcome everyone to our channel Jit Ki Pathshala. Today we will discuss the remaining part of our agriculture lesson. So let's begin without wasting our time. Plantation agriculture. The Europeans introduced this type of agriculture in their tropical colonies. So for the first time, plantation agriculture was started by the Europeans in their colonies. The main characteristic of this agriculture are huge capital investment, application of modern technology, growing of monocrop in big estates, and connection of the production system with the markets with the transport and communication development and establishment of manufacturing units. So basically in this type of agriculture, huge capital investment is generally seen. Along with that, use of modern technology and growing of monocrop. Growing of monocrop means growing of single crops in big estates can be seen. Along with that, connection of production system with markets with the help of transport and communication system is also seen. The main crops of this farming are tea, coffee, rubber, cocoa, etc. And the main crops of plantation agriculture are tea, coffee, rubber, cocoa, etc. It is here worth mentioning that the French colonialists introduced coffee and cocoa cultivation in West Africa. So for the first time, the cultivation of cocoa and coffee were introduced by the French people in west part of Africa. Similarly, the British introduced tea in India and Sri Lanka and rubber in Malaysia. So in India, tea was introduced by the British, even in Sri Lanka too. And rubber was introduced by British in Malaysia. Presently, in most of the countries, the ownership of plantation farming has gone to the local government or capitalists from the foreign companies. So at present, if we have to see, the plantation crop which was earlier under foreign companies, now it has gone to the local government of that particular area or in the hand of some of the capitalists, that means with the rich people. Collective farming. This is a special kind of farming practice where social ownership and collective labor input form its main characteristic. That means many labor unite together and they cultivate a plot of land. It is also known as kolkhoz. This farming practice was initiated in former Soviet Union, and this kolkhoz or collective farming was introduced for the first in Soviet Union. In this system, farming was done collectively and in returns the farmers were given their dues. So in this type of farming, many farmers unite together and they cultivate a plot of land, in return to which the farmers generally get their dues for their work. At that time, the farmers had owned individually only a small amount of land, and during that time the farmers generally had a small plot of land which was not sufficient to feed their family. So many farmers, they join together and they cultivate a plot of land. This system experienced fundamental change after the fall of the then Soviet Union, but later on this system of cultivation has brought lot of change after the fall of Soviet Union. Next is horticulture. Horticulture generally means growing of fruits, vegetables and flowers. Currently, in all parts of the world, the demand for horticulture has increased. As you know that with the growing population, the demand for horticulture has also increased. The application of high yielding varieties along with modern machineries is maximum in this market oriented farming practice. So basically in horticulture we can see that modern machineries and modern tools are generally used to fulfill the demands of increasing population. Some countries like USA, France, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands are greatly advanced in horticultural practice. So some of the countries which are advanced in producing horticultural products are USA, France, Germany, Denmark and Netherlands. If we talk about India, in India also this type of farming is gaining popularity. States like Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Himachal Pradesh are advanced in horticulture. These states also export these horticultural products to some others country. Market gardening. Among the economic factors for agricultural development, market plays the most important role. So for the development of agriculture and for the development of agricultural product, market plays an important role, because in that market the produced goods can be sold, or even whatever goods or whatever tools are necessary for the development of agriculture can be purchased from the markets. So market play an important role in the expansion of agriculture. With the spread of economic exchange among the countries of the contemporary world, the role of market has become stronger in all respects. As the people with more purchasing power are in the cities and industrial center, the demand for fruits and vegetables is naturally high there. As the people with more purchasing power means as the people with more money are generally lives in cities and in the industrial centers. So in those places the demands for fruits and vegetables is also very high as compared to other regions. In order to meet such demand, horticultural crops are intensively grown throughout the year around the cities and industrial centers. So to fulfill the demands of horticultural items, especially in cities and industrial area, some people cultivate different kinds of horticultural crops nearby the cities and industrial area throughout the year. The products can be easily supplied to the urban markets as these areas are well connected by transport and communication system with the nearby cities. So those farmers who grows different kind of horticultural crops and horticultural product nearby the cities and industrial area, they get many benefit. For example, they can easily supply the produced goods to the urban markets with the help of better transport and communication system. Because of these advantages, market gardening is found to grow around the big cities like many other parts of the world. Around the Indian cities also, market gardening is seen to gain ground. So basically because of this kind of advantage like transport and communication facilities, market gardening is gaining popularity around the world, even in India also. Even in the areas around the Guwahati city also, one can see that the farmers are increasingly attracted to market gardening. So if we see the Guwahati city or the places which are situated nearby the Guwahati city, people are increasingly attracted toward market gardening. So basically market gardening means the cultivation of horticultural crops around the cities and industrial areas. So now let's see some major crops. Although hundreds of crops are cultivated, the people of the world largely depend on only a few crops. As we know, hundreds of crops are cultivated around the world, but only few of them are the major crops. It is noteworthy that the application of modern technology has enabled to evolve high-yielding varieties of crop, which has contributed towards reducing the cultivation of local varieties. So we can say that with the application of modern technology, it has been possible to produce different kinds of crops which had reduced the cultivation of local varieties. In spite of that, the importance of rice and wheat as food crops, sugarcane as cash crop, cotton as fiber crops and tea as beverage crop is still kept up. Although varieties, types of crops are there, but rice and wheat as food crop, sugarcane as cash crop, cotton as fiber and tea as beverage crop is still gaining the same popularity. The following is a brief discussion on the geographical distribution and pattern of production of these major crops. So now we will see these major crops and the environment it required for the growth of this kind of crops. At first we will see rice. Rice is a principal food crop. Almost half of the world population use it as a staple food. It is a principal food, we can say. Rice is cultivated in the monsoon regions of the world. Generally, the flat plain, coastal plains and the deltaic plains are suitable for rice cultivation. So generally the flat plain area, coastal plains and the deltaic regions are suitable for the growth of rice. Moreover, in certain hilly areas also rice is practiced. Not only in the plain area, if we see the hilly area also, rice is being cultivated. So now we'll see what kind of environment it required for the growth of rice. High temperature and rainfall are required for rice cultivation. So for the better growth of rice, we need high temperature and rainfall. Temperature should range between 25 degree to 35 degrees Celsius. It is better if rainfall remains between 100 to 200 centimeter annually. And rainfall, how much it should be? It should be 100 to 200 centimeter annually. The countries like China, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan and Philippines experiencing monsoon type of climate are the main producers of rice. So the main producers of rice are China, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan and Philippines. Moreover, rice is also produced in the countries like USA, Brazil and Egypt. Okay, so some amount of rice is also produced in such country like USA, Brazil and Egypt. China in Asia is the highest producer of rice, followed by India. China is in number 1 in rice producing, while in number 2 India is there. In India, the Ganga, Brahmaputra Valley and the eastern coastal areas are the major producer of rice. Okay, so in India, the Ganga, Brahmaputra Valley and the eastern coastal areas are the major producer of rice. In certain hilly areas of the northeastern regions of India, rice is cultivated following the shifting or the jhum practice. So not only in the plain region of Assam, but in hilly regions of northeast also, people cultivate rice by the means of shifting cultivation or by the jhum cultivation. Okay. Now next major crop is wheat. Majority of the people of the world use wheat as their staple food. From geographical point of view also, its cultivation is extensive. Okay, so majority people of the world, they use wheat as the staple food and maximum area is used for wheat cultivation. The clayey and sandy soils of the plain area are specially suitable for the wheat cultivation, and for wheat cultivation clayey and sandy soils is very good. Its cultivation needs an annual rainfall range of 50 to 100 centimeter, and the annual rainfall necessary for cultivation of wheat is 50 to 100 centimeter. The temperate climate is suitable for this crop. It needs at least a frost-free period of 3 months for its cultivation in the cold areas. In the cold areas, for the cultivation of wheat, at least 3 months should be frost-free. Nowadays, even in the low rainfall areas, wheat is cultivated by the means of irrigation facilities. Wheat is cultivated mainly in the countries like USA, China, India, Russia, Canada, Australia, France, Germany and Pakistan. If we see about India, the Ganga Valley of India is famous for wheat cultivation. China is the biggest producer of wheat among all the countries of the world, followed by the USA and India. So the highest producer of wheat is also China. India is in number 3. Sugarcane. Sugarcane is a commercial crop grown in the tropical areas. Sugarcane is a commercial crop. We can also call it as a cash crop because especially sugarcane is cultivated for the commercial purpose. Fertile sandy soil is very suitable for this crop. So for the growth of sugarcane, fertile and it should be sandy type for its better growth. A temperature of 20 degree to 27 degrees Celsius and an annual rainfall of 100 to 150 centimeter favors its cultivation successfully. So temperature should be 20 degree to 27 degree, while average annual rainfall should be 100 to 150 centimeter for the better growth of sugarcane. Its cultivation needs sufficient sunshine, while snowfall is harmful for growing it. So it also needs sunshine. We have already seen the temperature, but snowfall is harmful for the growth of sugarcane. Sugarcane is an industrial crop. We call it industrial crop because sugarcane is used as raw materials in sugar industry. It is included in the plantation farming category. Sugarcane constitutes the main raw materials of sugar industry. So the main raw materials of sugar industry is sugarcane. Therefore, sugar industries are mostly found in the sugarcane growing areas So basically if we see sugar industries, these are generally situated in such places where sugar is produced abundantly. Sugarcane is cultivated mainly in the tropical and subtropical regions of the world. The major sugarcane producing countries include Brazil, India, China, Thailand, Cuba and Mexico. Moreover, it is cultivated in the Pacific Islands like Fiji and Hawaii. Brazil and India are the topmost producer of sugarcane in the world. So these names you have to remember because there will be some short questions. So let's see cotton. Cotton is a very important fiber crop. It is used for various purposes. Throughout the world, there is a demand for cotton clothes. The textile industries mainly depend on the supply of cotton. Cotton is a fiber crop because from cotton generally fiber is extracted, and from that extracted fiber different types of cloths are made. Cotton is a crop of the areas of high temperature and medium rainfall. Cotton is generally grown in such area where the temperature is high and rainfall is medium. The favorable annual amount of rainfall for this crop ranges from 65 cm to 115 cm. So if you see here, you can notice the average annual rainfall for the growth of cotton is 65 cm to 115 cm. The cultivation of this crop requires a frost-free period of 190 to 210 days in a year. So for the better growth of cotton, a frost-free period of 190 to 210 days is required in a year. Generally, well-drained highlands with sandy soils are favorable for cotton growing. Generally, cotton is grown in such area which is well-drained highlands with sandy soils. Nowadays, high-yielding varieties, high-yielding means high-producing varieties of cotton are cultivated in most of the countries of the world. So nowadays, varieties types of cottons are available, and basically those cottons which produce a lot are generally cultivated in most part of the countries of the world. Geographically, the cultivation of cotton is limited to areas within 45° north latitude and 30° south latitude. So basically cotton cultivation is done between 45° north latitude to 30° south latitude. The major cotton producing countries of the world are the USA, China, Pakistan, Russia, Egypt, India and Brazil. So some of the major cotton producing countries we have just seen here. In the USA, cotton is grown in large area covering the Mississippi and Tennessee valleys. Similarly, the Hongho and Yangtze valleys of northern China and the Nile Valley of Egypt are famous for cotton cultivation. So these are some of the places of some countries which are popularly used for cotton cultivation. In India, the black soils of the Deccan Plateau are especially favorable for raising cotton. So basically in India, in the Deccan Plateau, cotton is cultivated. The Meghalaya Plateau of northeast India also produces some amount of cotton. So in northeast, in Meghalaya, some amount of cotton is produced. The USA, China and India are the largest producer of cotton. So USA, China and India are the largest producer of cotton. Next is tea. Tea is a major beverage crop. Tea for drinking is produced from tea leaves. As we know that tea for drinking is generally extracted from the tea leaves. Tea plants need hot and humid climatic conditions. So generally tea is grown in such places where the temperature is hot and humid. The red soils of the well-drained hill slopes are suitable for tea cultivation. So for the cultivation of tea, red soils is necessary. Along with that, well-drained hill slopes, it generally grows in hill slopes because water accumulation is not good for tea. So drain are necessary for the growth of tea. Tea cultivation is basically depend on capital intensive. It means we have to invest capital on that, and it also required different kinds of technology. These farming and related industries are managed fully from commercial perspectives. So the tea cultivation and the industry related to tea are basically used for commercial purposes. Whoever are cultivating tea, their main objective of cultivation of tea is to supply or to sell in the market. Tea is an important plantation crop of the monsoon region of Asia. China, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Japan are the major tea producing countries of the world. So China, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Japan are some of the major tea producing countries of the world. Tea is also grown in African countries like Kenya, Uganda and Mozambique to a certain extent. The Brahmaputra and Barak Valley of Assam, India are known for tea production. So here in Assam, Brahmaputra and Barak Valley are popular for the production of tea. So moreover, tea is also grown in Darjeeling and in Kerala. Keeping the growing demand for tea in the international market in view, tea cultivation is gradually introduced in certain new areas of the country. Keeping the growing demand for tea in the international market, in India also, tea is cultivated in certain new areas. And India ranks first in the world in tea production, followed by China. So in terms of tea production, India ranks first and second it is China. And this was about the agriculture and the major crops of the world. So hope you have understood a little bit about the agriculture that practiced around the world. Thank you very much for watching our video.